Hi there, Malcolm here for my 323rd Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you a review for The Malevolent 8 by Sebastian de Castell. This is book 2 of the Malevolent trilogy. Yes, there's going to be a third one. The Malevolent 9, surprisingly enough. And this is a fantasy story set in a world where magicians are attuned to a certain ability, and their magic works by them being able to open a portal to a different realm and tapping into the natural energy of that world. And the first book, 7 idiots get together to try and stop a thing from happening, the end result which is a thing happens. Not necessarily the same thing, but a thing happens. And so this one, they start off trying to negate the thing that's going on. They've had to replace one of their number. Corrigan refuses to be known as the Malevolent 6, so they end up recruiting this guy, who they name Temper, which just happens to be a pan-dimensional vampiric kangaroo. Because why the hell not? So we got this crazy kangaroo thing, we have a guy who can summon thunder and lightning, a shape-changing angel, a demon that has a pretty cool sword, a guy who can control and communicate with rats, someone who can control blood, and the lead character, Cade Ombra, who is keeping his ability secret, who's able to do a thing at the end of the last one where he could change his ability, but he's keeping it quite stum. He tried it once and ended up with a vampire kangaroo, so he's keeping it low-key for now. Because effectively we have the forces of good and the forces of bad have come from their own respective dimensions and are battling it out on the mortal realm, enlisting countless hapless idiots to their causes to fight on their behalf and die. And these 7 idiots are trying to stop all that happening. Meanwhile, there's a surprise appearance by a character who's from another book series, the Spellslinger series. As far as we're aware, nobody that we know from the Spellslinger series, but from that world, who has a major impact on the events of the story. There's a lot going on here, and a lot of it is pretty manic. And I would say if you've enjoyed the first book, you should enjoy the second. It's more of the same, but going in a different direction, doing new things. And in the acknowledgements at the end, Sebastian actually said some of the more extreme things that happen in this book, like in the torture scenes and the amount of swearing that goes on generally, he deliberately pushed it as far as he could to see when the censors were going to step in and say, no, you can't do that. And, well, according to the acknowledgements, no one ever said he couldn't do that. So it didn't matter how far he pushed it, it stayed in the book. So yeah, there are a few rather grim torture scenes and lots of naughty words as well. And a pretty decent tale. I think, yeah, Cade Ombra does come across as a bit of a underdog that's not quite. You get the impression that they're all a bunch of incompetent idiots. But actually, there's a lot more to Cade than you really expect, and he's very easily underestimated. He actually is capable when the chips are getting thrown down and all the rest of it. He does have at least 12% of a plan. And the story nicely expands upon the world building from the first book. We find out more about the Aurorals and the Lords Devilish, but also about how this interdimensional magic portaling works and the pitfalls from doing so. I think the only quandary that we really had with this one was that the motivations for the Jam-Tep mage who came from this other realm weren't great. Now, I think there was more to it than just what it is. I don't think I had an awful lot of choice at their disposal. But even so, I can see some people having a bit of issue with the motivation for why they did what they did. Worth buying. Looking forward to book 3. Might have to wait a bit though. So, have you read The Malevolent 8? Have you read The Malevolent 7? What did you think of them? Or have you read the Spellslinger series? But yeah, really good stuff. I like his witty writing. I like the way that the character sort of is telling you the story, telling you his thoughts. I mean, he's very much speaking to you from the book. So it's that type of story writing. It's witty, it's sassy, it goes there and beyond. Although again, there's a funny bit in the acknowledgements when he says, I thought I was really pushing it, when his publisher said, well, why don't you go and read some of the new romancity that's out? And then he did, and he thought, okay, I'm quite tame in comparison to that. But yeah, if nothing else, this guy writes an acknowledgements in a way that nobody else does. There you go, I hope you enjoyed that. Comments down below, please. But as usual, everything I have to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and other useful things, if you want. And until next time, see you later.